Climate change is one such issue. Peace and security is another. Strengthening the partnership between the African Union and the UN is the third relevant issue. So I look forward to hearing the views of all of you, and I say once again thank you for your patience, and again, my brother, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much for raising those very important issues, which will also help us to chart the way forward as we all wait for the 75th anniversary of the UN. Indeed, the UN is now more important than it was in 1945. The current developments, the UN is now more critical and more important than when it was founded. Now I would request my brother from the Mambo of Somalia to introduce the program. Welcome, Karim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, Foreign Minister of Republic of Tanzania, and the Republic of Tanzania, ministers, colleagues, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a singular honor for me to participate in this meeting of the African-Nordic foreign ministers. I want to start by thanking the people of Tanzania and my brother, Professor Kabudi, for the invitation, hospitality, and for the good preparation and organization of the meeting. Peace and security, the overall is a foundation for human assistance and well-being. Somalia has been challenged for many decades by instability, insecurity, civil war, state collapse, piracy, and terrorism. Our challenges are domestic and global, or if you would, regional dimensions. I'm glad to report that we have made remarkable progress on all of these fronts. Domestically, we're working very hard on peace building and state building, and have made huge strides in progress.
We have undertaken reconciliation efforts, consensus building. Somalia have had numerous elections, successful elections, both at the federal level and at the member state level. We have and continue to undertake constitutional making, improve and perfect our chosen federalism, and we have improved on the role of women and youth in all these processes. We have encouraged the role of the diaspora, and many of people in this government and the previous governments are from the diaspora, including our president who just gave back his American citizenship, our prime minister, able prime minister, who, as Minister In mentioned yesterday, is Norwegian and conducts Norwegian conversations, discussions in Somalia and outside in Norwegian if he wants. I myself, I'm a retainee from the good country of Canada, which hosted me many years. So the diaspora is playing a good role. We have fought against terrorism and piracy, and on this, I wish to take this opportunity to thank the AU for its AMISOM mission, that is African peacemaking mission in Somalia. Particular thanks to the troops contributing countries, the brotherly countries of Uganda, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Kenya, and Burundi. We wish also to thank the European Union, the United States of America, Turkey, Qatar, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, who all played a key role in bringing stability, peace, and security to Somalia. I should single out particular thanks and appreciation for the countries of the Nordic for their championing of the Somali causes on many fronts, the attention and the engagement that they have rendered to us, and the critical partnership that we are receiving. Ministries like the Foreign Minister of Norway, Ms. In, the Foreign Minister of have visited Somalia, and we appreciate that. Foreign Minister of Denmark was in Somalia a couple of days ago. Your office is still here. And we expect my good friend, the Minister of International Cooperation of Sweden, Peter, to be visiting us in this week. We appreciate this attention and the partnership that these countries have rendered to us. On the regional front, we have political and security cooperation and economic integration with our neighbors of Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Sudan, and generally with the countries of the Horn. And this also led to the improvement of peace and security in Somalia. However, challenges still remain. And the biggest of these challenges are the spillover of conflicts in the neighborhood, like the conflict in Yemen, the conflict in the Gulf countries have created challenges, new challenges for us when we were ready to overcome all challenges. And lastly, weak institutions. Somalia has seen a state collapse of many years, over 3 decades, and therefore these are still weak as much as the progress we have made that I just mentioned. Therefore, Somalia seeks the continuous engagement, partnership, and support of brotherly, friendly countries of both Africa and the Nordic countries. The progress that we have made in peace and security, precondition for sustainability of stability and development. Thank you very much.
Much, brother from Somalia, and especially for your concluding remarks of seeking support from African countries, Nordic countries, to sustain the peace and security that Somalia has achieved, so that we continue to ensure development of the Somali people, but of the Horn of Africa and the entire continent of Africa. Looking at our time, we are supposed to break at 12:45, which means we have about 40 minutes. And I would want us to use these 40 minutes to hear from us, many of us. So I stand to be guided how we do it so that most of our voices are heard in this session, which is very important, bearing in mind that we have 40 minutes. Unfortunately, we had to take some of the minutes because there were ministers who had to see the president for bilaterals, and they took part of our time. So I would request my dear sisters and dear brothers to be as brief as possible without compromising the message you would want us to hear. So, with those remarks, I believe we'll use the 40 minutes properly. And already the first hand was from the High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia, representing the minister from Namibia. And I know Namibia, they are in election. This is why my dearest sister, Deputy Prime Minister, is not here. High Commissioner, please. And then the others will follow. Don't worry. I'm seeing Malawi, I'm seeing Morocco, I am seeing Sweden, I'm seeing Mozambique. So we will, all of us. But let us be Zimbabwe, I'm seeing Algeria. So let us be Misri, or Egypt. So let us be as brief as possible. Namibia.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Ministers, after listening to the inputs from the ministers, previous speakers, I thought I would like to share what my Deputy Prime Minister shared at one of the platforms that she was. Namibia, as the chair of the Focal Point Network, hosted the 3rd annual capital level meeting of Women, Peace and Security Focal Point Network under the theme Women, Peace and Security towards full participation, mainstreaming the Women, Peace and Security agenda in regional economic communities in Windhoek. During this meeting, Namibia managed to successfully introduce 2 new discussions, namely the role of youth, as was mentioned, inclusivity, and the Women, Peace and Security agenda, as well as the connection between disarmament and the Women, Peace and Security agenda. In an effort to advance the implementation of Women, Peace and Security agenda, Namibia announced its decision to establishment of an international Women's Peace Center during the 3rd meeting of Women, Peace and Security Focal Point Network, intended to be a center of excellence for more inclusive peace building and conflict prevention processes to support and ensure women's contributions within Namibia, Southern Africa, Africa, and globally. The concept note is about to be finalized and will be shared. That's what she said at that stage. I know this is something very special to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs. Namibia launched its first National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security in beginning of this year, supposedly to be concluded in 2024 in Windhoek. The Minister's intention is to establish a center for women in Namibia, but I know that will be at cost, and we need all the support that we can get from our sisters and brothers to make it a reality as it will be the inclusiveness of youth as well as women. Thank you very much, Minister. I don't want to take more time to read the whole speech.
Thank you very much. What we've got from you is the International Women Peace Center. Foreign Minister, my brother from Malawi, zikomo pambili.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister. We are sincerely grateful to the government of the Republic of Tanzania for the excellent organization of this 18th Africa-Nordic Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting, which will afford us an opportunity to discuss with an open mind matters pertaining our two regions, various global challenges, and explore avenues for further cooperation. Honourable Ministers, the theme of our plenary, Advancing Peace and Security, the African-Nordic response to local and global trends, is timely considering that the world today is facing various forms of security threats which call for urgent collective action to enhance peace and security in our regions. New threats to regional and international peace and security, which include spread of terrorism, radicalization, piracy, violent extremism, illegal arms trade, and organized crimes, continue to threaten our regions and the world as a whole. Malawi appreciates the assistance that Nordic countries render to us and other African governments on issues of governance and capacity building through long-term technical assistance. The military civilian instructors that have been deployed to the region since late 1990s have been instrumental in Africa's quest to finding a lasting solution to peace. It is encouraging to note that the Nordic African relations on peace and security are built on the values of democracy, solidarity, and holistic African development. Some of its important features include transfer of knowledge, local ownership and leadership, and flexibility. That there will always be interdependence between peace, security, and development. We therefore hope that through such annual gatherings like these, our cooperation will be enhanced and yield more results for sustainability of peace and stability. Malawi is committed to promoting peace, security, and democratic values on the continent and at national level, and will continue to play a critical role in ensuring that peace and security prevails in the region and contribute towards global peace and stability. In this regard, the government of Malawi will continue to contribute towards peacekeeping efforts in the continent through deployment of peacekeepers under the auspices of SADC, AU, and the UN. Finally, Chair, Malawi believes that our cooperation needs to address critical issues which include poverty, job creation, and underdevelopment. These are foundations for durable peace. We would like also to register our support to the initiative by the Norwegian government on rule-based order and also on UN reforms. Chair, I thank you for kind attention.
Zikomo pambili, which means thank you very much for your contribution. Now, the Kingdom of Sweden. My dear sister from the Kingdom of Sweden.
Thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, women's influence in peace processes and gender perspective in negotiation and agreement is a key priority for all of us. We salute the important role that the women play in peace processes such in the Central African Republic and South Sudan. This should not be an exception, but the rule. I would also like to highlight the ongoing transition process in Sudan from a woman, peace and security perspective, which Sweden strongly supports. Thankful for the cooperation with you and the AU in this regard. The Swedish network of women mediators, which is part of the Nordic Women Mediators, has been actively involved in the launch of the new Global Alliance of Women Mediators. The role of FemWise in that group is particularly important. I'm interested in learning more of how you see the role of FemWise country context. There is great potential for their engagement in situations such as in Sudan right now. Last week, the open debate on women and peace and security in the United Nations Security Council, I raised the importance of leadership, implementation, and accountability. I would like to thank South Africa taking on such a strong leadership in the agenda at the Security Council and for promoting Bineta Diop as a briefer for the open debate. When it comes to the participation and leadership of young people, that is crucial. We want them to take part in the dialogue on peace and security. We see opportunities and challenges with young engagement across Africa, most recently in the Horn and Sahel region. Implementation of the Youth Peace and Security Agenda is a priority for Sweden, both in our political and development agenda. Special attention should also here be paid to women. For example, the participation of young women leading to the Sudan transition is encouraging, but they will need further support. At the United Nations Security Council debate last week, as I talked about, there was the 22-year-old Sudanese woman, Ala Saleh, who has become an icon for many parts of Africa, and she made a very strong speech in the Security Council. Several projects are providing good evidence. For example, the Folke Bernadotte Academy has supported young leaders and peace builders in Liberia. New tools for implementation of the agenda is also being developed. Increased funding for youth, peace and security is needed, including through more support for the fragile settings in conflict and post-conflict situation for youth participation and empowerment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my sister. Now I will call my brother from Mozambique. You've come out a good example of a peace initiative in Mozambique.
Caros irmãos e irmãs aqui presentes, Moçambique apoia todas as iniciativas e parcerias globais, incluindo ações orientadas para o diálogo, através dos mecanismos internacionais para a prevenção, gestão e resolução de conflitos. Neste contexto, Moçambique reitera o seu total apoio a todas as iniciativas do Secretário-Geral das Nações Unidas, nas vertentes de paz e segurança, viradas essencialmente para a promoção do diálogo como instrumento fundamental de uma agenda fundada na prevenção de conflitos. Para o efeito, o governo de Moçambique, desde o ano de 2015, realiza ações com vista à conquista e manutenção da paz e estabilidade política, econômica e social, tendo resultado na assinatura do acordo de cessão de hostilidades militares, e seguido do acordo de paz e reconciliação assinado no dia 6 de agosto na cidade de Maputo, estando em curso o processo de implementação do desarmamento, desmilitarização e reinserção social das forças residuais dos partido NAMO. Concerne ao processo DDR, das forças de defesa e segurança nacionais para termos uma paz expectativa. Apraz-me usar esta oportunidade para agradecer à comunidade internacional terem destacado facilitadores e testemunhado a assinatura do Acordo de Paz e Reconciliação Nacional. A materialização deste importante processo requer uma capacidade técnica e financeira robusta pelo que Moçambique reitera o apelo à comunidade internacional para continuar a apoiar e assistir à contínua implementação do acordo de paz, sobretudo na manutenção do diálogo como plataforma incontornável para a resolução de diferenças, aproximação e reforço da confiança mútua. Todavia, este desenvolvimento positivo está a ser ensombrado por ações de malfeitores extremistas na região norte da província de Cabo Delgado, que continuam a suscitar preocupação. Para este efeito, Moçambique faz uma abordagem integrada para o estabelecimento de plataformas mais sólidas para a paz, segurança e estabilidade política, agregando elementos e valores sociais e econômicos. É neste quadro que no dia 15 de outubro, Moçambique realizou eleições legislativas, presidenciais e das assembleias provinciais, que foram bem administradas, por conseguinte, livres, justas e transparentes, o que é também comungado pelos observadores nacionais e internacionais. No passado dia 15 de outubro, a Comissão Nacional de Eleições anunciou os resultados, tendo declarado os vencedores do pleito eleitoral. Está em curso o processo de preparação da tomada de posse do presidente reeleito, dos deputados da Assembleia da República e dos membros das Assembleias Provinciais. A consolidação da unidade nacional, a paz e soberania, assim como o desenvolvimento social e econômico, constituem objetivos fundamentais da governação de Moçambique e são condições imprescindíveis para a estabilidade política, social, econômica, tendo em vista o progresso de Moçambique e bem-estar dos moçambicanos. Para concluir, é nosso entendimento que a paz e segurança é um imperativo global que exige a adoção de ações na plataforma multilateral de parceria inteligente, privilegiando o envolvimento da juventude nas ações de educação patriótica, cívica e de convivência pacífica, quer a nível nacional, mas sobretudo a nível internacional. Quero terminar a minha intervenção saudar os avanços alcançados pelos nossos irmãos da Etiópia, que determinaram a elegibilidade para o Prêmio Nobel da Paz ao primeiro-ministro da Etiópia e, sendo um prêmio para a Etiópia, é um prêmio para a África. E, para o efeito, peço que todos façamos um aplauso para o nosso irmão da Etiópia por este grande mérito. Uma salva de palmas para os irmãos da Etiópia.
Muito obrigado. Now let us move to my dear sister from Denmark.
Yes, thank you. In the Nordic countries, we usually refer to each other as cousins, but I will say dear sisters and brothers today, and cousins. So just 3 points, and thank you very much for the intervention. Now, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development underlines, referring to SDG number 16, there can be no sustainable development without peace. And it is also in that vein that Denmark has been involved in the security of the Horn of Africa for a long time. The foreign minister was very pleased to go to Somalia and see for himself the potential, but also, of course, the challenges that you face. And we are pleased that we have a very integrated approach in our engagement in Somalia, and we do hope to see a successful outcome of this. We will also step up our engagement in the Sahel, where we see developments that are extremely worrying. When it comes to population growth and climate change, those are factors that will only exacerbate the problems if we do not tackle them. Secondly, just to underline and echo the importance to ensure women's participation in the entire conflict cycle. And finally, allow me to bridge to the next discussion that we will have in the afternoon. I guess there can also not be any sustainable peace without development. So only to say here that we do very much commend the free trade, the African continental free trade area that we now see. We also think that it's very important that while you have open markets, that we also ensure a fair and sustainable trade policy. And that is why last week the Danish government established a stakeholder forum for fair and sustainable trade policy with leading trade experts, business organizations, unions, and civil society organizations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My dearest cousin, because here in my country, children of brothers of your father are sisters and brothers, and the children of sisters of your mother are also brothers and sisters. Cousins applies to children of the brothers of your mother or sisters of your father, and I don't want to go far. No. So thank you very much, my dearest sister, cousin. So now let us move to Zimbabwe, my brother from Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much, Professor Kabudi, my friend. So friends as well, I think can fit in. Particularly for the hospitality which has been extended to us and my delegation in particular. I also want to recognize particularly the Nordic countries which are present here, and the initiative which on Africa and Nordic foreign ministers towards a sustainable development program. Indeed, the Nordic countries, as was mentioned by the chair earlier on, have been very active, not only in this part of the African continent, but also in the rest of the region. I speak here also as the chair of the organ on politics, defense and security for the SADC. So, but we have had a relationship with Nordic countries. I remember the Regional Peacekeeping Training Center first was built by the Danish, and it was in that spirit up to today. It is located in Zimbabwe, and that is where a lot of training for peace operations are undertaken. And then secondly, they have also well, I belong to a Lutheran church, which is also a basis of the originating from Swiden. But what I would like to say is that there cannot be any achievement of SDGs or which can be realized unless there's peace and security. And that's why the AU Peace and Security Council's focus on the silence of the guns by 2030 is a key phenomenon. But where is the problem? First, let me identify the victims of any conflict on the African continent are women and children. They are the victims. They are also the instruments which are then used in a lot of conflicts. But because of certain levels of poverty, they fall prey to a lot of, they get swayed into getting into certain conflictual positions which mostly are intrastate, except for terrorism, which is transboundary. So I think that Africa generally has the capacity to sort out its peace and security issues. But most conflicts in Africa resonates very well with certain capitals or certain jurisdictions or organizations, non-state actors. And therefore, I think we have to look at that. Where is the origination? We must stop the funding. We must stop the arming. And then if we can dry up and squeeze up that particular source of conflictual motivation, I think we'll be able to deal with the issues to do with conflicts on the African continent. But the security architecture, which has been mentioned here, from the international, the UN, which obviously requires active reform, the continental body, which is the African Union Peace and Security Council, and particularly and the other regional and interstate architecture needs a partnership, and the partnership which is established between Nordic and Africa in particular and member states is going to be critical. So I believe that, and I would like to appreciate therefore the African and Nordic Foundation initiative so that it can be concretized and materialized in order to put together a structure and a way of supporting peace processes which are taking place in different parts of the countries in Africa. Yes, climate change, resilience, and security are inseparable. I would like to finally thank, I think, my brother from Somalia, who made indicated serious progress in that country. And I think that is what we emulate and what we want to see the international community, and particularly our partnership with Nordic countries, coming to fruition at that level. I thank you.
Thank you very much. My brother from Morocco.
Thank you, Chair. Dear family, first of all, I would like to warmly thank Professor Kabudi, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Eastern African Cooperation of the United Republic of Tanzania, for his invitation and for their hospitality and warm welcome in this very beautiful country. It goes without saying that this annual meeting is an opportunity to exchange views on several topics of common interests between Nordic and African countries, but also an occasion of making an assessment of the previous ministerial meetings. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact that African countries are making tremendous effort to stabilize the continent through resolving existing conflicts, lowering tensions within and between countries, promoting peace building and combating terrorism and religious extremism, the situation continues to be very alarming. Nonetheless, we should be positive, stay optimistic, and furthermore, we are invited to team up our efforts to make the situation much better. In fact, the African-Nordic partnership can pave the way for better coordination and adequate response to the threat posed at the local, regional, and international levels through the following actions: a continuing advocacy for multilateralism as the appropriate mechanism to deal with major issues threatening the world, including Africa; building a strong partnership to address common challenges while respecting the political systems and the singularity of each country, its sovereignty, its unity, its territorial integrity, and non-interference in its internal affairs; advancing conflict prevention, political dialogue, and mediation as the appropriate means to achieve peace and security in Africa and beyond; involving women in the resolution of conflicts throughout its different phases: prevention, maintaining peace building, and post-conflict reconstruction; investing massively in the capacity building of African countries to create a better environment for investment, which will provide more opportunities for the population, including youth. Ladies and gentlemen, Morocco's foreign policy has always been driven under the leadership of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI by the necessity of sustaining peace and security in Africa for the sake of political stability and social and economic development of African people. As such, Morocco considers security in our continent as one that requires a coordinated and constant effort based on a holistic, inclusive, consistent and integrated approach. The Kingdom strongly believes in the importance of the nexus between peace and development. It is in this context that Morocco is committed to an active solidarity and effective South-South cooperation through investment, training programs, cultural and religious cooperation, security coordination for the benefit of the African brothers. To that end, my country is deeply committed and is willing to share its experiences, knowledge and expertise in various fields for the prosperity of Africa and, more important, its stability. It is the belief of Morocco that through joint action and better coordination, our two regions can advance the ideal for which we are gathering here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother. Now let me move to my brother from the Kingdom of Lesotho.
Thank you, Honorable Professor Kabudi, our gracious host, honorable ministers, heads of delegation, excellencies, ambassadors, and high commissioners. Threats of international peace and security continue to persist. While conflicts continue to erupt in different parts of the world, putting the capacity of the international conflict resolution machinery to serve a test. Lesotho underscores the imperative that coordinated, sustained, and inclusive conflict preventative measures should be given priority. It is in this connection that we reiterate our call for the reform of the Security Council with a view to making the Council representative, transparent, and indeed accountable. True reform of the Security Council will be the one modeled along the lines of the common African position as enshrined in the Ezulweni Consensus and Surety Declaration. That is the only way the historical injustice done to Africa will be reversed. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you very much. My brother Oga from Nigeria. Oga.
Well, let me join others in saying my brother. I believe I qualify to say so because I do remember, and I'm sure we all do, that Nigeria, like Tanzania, was a frontline state. Onyama, the gentleman I'm sure you all know, who should have actually been here, but for the fact that he went out in search of peace in the South African, in the West African region. Right now, he's in Niger, trying to find solutions to the problem in Guinea-Bissau. I'm sure you're all aware of the meeting that is taking place there today. Because again, one of those reasons why we have conflicts in Africa, which has to do with intransigence, sometimes on the part of the leadership itself. But I believe we are already discussing it, and we are hopeful that they will come up with some solutions. But that said, coming back to this particular forum, the Africa-Nordic Forum Ministers, we acknowledge that this forum is the foremost and leading platform for the development of Africa-Nordic relations, as we dialogue on various issues of mutual interest to the two regions. The benefits of an open and informal dialogue are apparent in that it has strengthened our cooperation and afforded us the opportunity to exchange views on topical issues of bilateral, regional, and global concern. Coming closer home to the problems in Nigeria, for example, it is important to reiterate the positive contributions of the collaboration that has been established at a forum such as this in addressing pressing challenges being faced by participating countries, for example, Nigeria, the Nordic countries, in conjunction with Norway, in facilitating the donor conference for the Northeast and the Lake Chad region, which held in Oslo in 2016, by mobilizing international support for the humanitarian efforts in the region, which has since yielded considerable results on the lives of the people in that region. Now, talking about conflicts and matters of development, again, I believe members have already talked about the issues of climate change. My president has said it at all international fora, that part of the reasons for the conflicts in the northeastern parts of Nigeria has to do with climate change because of the shrinking of the Lake Chad region, which has sent not less than 3 million people into abject poverty. And that, of course, has fueled part of the crisis. That has made the youth there vulnerable, and therefore they became easy tool for manipulation by Boko Haram. And therefore, I believe in addressing issues of peace and conflict, we must have at the back of our minds the fact that climate change plays a very, very important role. And the earlier we start addressing them with all seriousness, the better. Now, again, it brings to the fore the matter of SDGs. Sometimes I ask, which comes first? Is it the egg or the chicken? If we must have peace and development, then we must, if we must avoid conflict, then we must do everything humanly possible to address issues that give rise to conflicts. In other words, we don't wait until conflicts arise, but that we, as a deliberate policy, remain focused in ensuring that we deliver on the SDGs. I therefore believe that there can be no better time than now for us to all take these matters and these goals very seriously and address them as a means of ensuring that we don't even allow conflicts arise in the first place. But again, it has been said, the matter of leadership, very, very essential. As we examine issues around economic development, trade and investment, as well as peace and security, it is important to note that our common interests can only be addressed when we take cursory look at our experiences, while hoping to build partnerships that can improve our present realities, as well as afford us the opportunity to become responsible stakeholders for the well-being of our world. I thank you most sincerely.
Thank you very much. Let us try to be as brief as I have noted. Let us try to be as brief as possible, and we will stretch a bit of time for what was known as a family photo. We'll see. So now let me welcome my brother from Egypt. I've seen everyone, and I'll be judicious as possible. I know it's a difficult task. Those who I know much, I won't give them a chance.
So, asante sana kaka mpendwa, and allow me, Your Excellency, to to be very brief. So I would say that we have been very conscious at the African Union of the importance and the relationship between peace and security and development, and that's why the Assembly of the African Union have decided in Nouakchott in 2018 to found an African Union Peace and Security Center for Reconstruction and Development. And this center should, within the coming days, is going to be hosted by Egypt, and it's going to have the headquarters in Cairo, and we should sign in the coming days the host country agreement with the African Union Commission. I believe that this is a very important development, because for the first time Africa will have its own Center for Reconstruction and Development. It's going to be twofold. One should be logistical and the other one is information. And of course it's going to respect the gender equality that has been established by the African Union by the President of the Commission, Mrs. Zuma. And I think that this is something that we should put into consideration, and we are looking forward, this center, when it starts work, to have cooperation and coordination with the Nordic countries and with the Peace Building Committee at the United Nations. Having said so, I would like also to say that the President of Egypt has been also elected by his peers as the champion of reconstruction and development in Africa. I have two comments and questions concerning what Her Excellency Minister of Foreign Affairs of Norway have said concerning a Nordic African partnership. I have a question here. Do you really consider establishing this relationship based on the partnerships that the African Union is having with other partners? We do, in African Union, we do have 9 established partnerships. Are you studying the idea of putting this under the umbrella of the African Union one day? This would be my question. And I would also like the Nordic countries to push and the Security Council to adopt the financing of the peacemaking operations that we have agreed upon a long time ago, and unfortunately had been stopped by some countries. We are looking forward for the Nordic countries who are members of the Security Council to support the A3 into pushing this agenda. We have agreed that 75% of the financing should be made by the United Nations, and 25% are going to be funded by our peace fund. Unfortunately, after we have agreed upon this, some countries, some big countries, have decided not to do that, and they have decided that it's up to the Africans to find the finance from whatever. So I think that it's not fair that we do the fight, we do the work, and we also finance it, given that Africa is part of the peace and security in the world. I will not take long, I just wanted to make these 2 points. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for informing us about the center. Actually, I was trained in diplomacy at the Diplomatic Institute, and my instructors in Cairo in 1984, and my instructors was Boutros Ghali, then Minister of State, and the Professor George Abisab. So sitting here today as a foreign minister takes me back to October to December 1984 in Cairo, when I was studying diplomacy under these 2 great Egyptians, Boutros Ghali and the Professor George Abisab. Thank you. Let me go to my dear sister from Niger. And she speaks French, so we can go English speakers, channel number 1.
Merci, Monsieur le Président et chers frères. Je vais essayer d'être très concise, mais néanmoins, permettez-nous de vous remercier pour l'hospitalité qui a été accordée au Niger dans le havre de paix. Je voudrais également présenter les excuses du ministre kadhaa, qui, comme l'a expliqué mon frère du Nigeria, est présentement au sommet des chefs d'État et de gouvernement de la CEDEAO pour tenter de résoudre des questions de conflit, de paix et de sécurité dans la zone. sahélo-saharienne en Afrique de l'Ouest. Justement, cette zone est malgré elle devenue une illustration de ce que peuvent devenir des conflits qui prennent de plus en plus d'importance. La région ouest africaine est en but à des conflits majeurs, mais également à des conflits liés à la dégradation du système, des écosystèmes, de l'environnement, qui amène de manière récurrente des conflits entre éleveurs et agriculteurs que vous suivez certainement. Ceci m'amène à dire qu'il est important de trouver au niveau du partenariat entre les pays nordiques et africains des nouvelles sources ou des pistes de solutions basées sur la résilience des populations, la forte volonté des gouvernements que l'on constate dans cette région pour essayer de trouver des solutions aux problèmes de développement. Il est également important au niveau du partenariat pays nordiques Afrique de tirer des leçons, des success stories. Quels sont les succès? Qu'est-ce que le partenariat avec les pays nordiques peut apporter? Quelque chose qui est spécifique aux pays nordiques que nous connaissons tous. La bonne gouvernance, la démocratie, les questions d'équité, les questions de genre, l'appui aux systèmes sociaux. Et c'est ce modèle que nous devons essayer d'utiliser, de renforcer pour donner d'autres types de solutions. Lutter ensemble pour non seulement garantir la paix et la sécurité au monde que nous vivons, mais également aux générations futures. Et pour le faire, ainsi que l'ont dit beaucoup de personnes, il est important de se baser sur la jeunesse, sur les femmes, sur l'éducation et les formations. Parce que le renforcement des capacités, l'éducation sont des armes de construction massive. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. My brother from Ethiopia.
Ninakushukuru mwenyekiti kwa kunipatia fursa hii. Nimshukuru waziri kutoka Msumbiji kwa pongezi zake juu ya tuzo ya Nobeli ambayo ndugu yetu amepata, na nashukuru sana nyote kwa kuweza kutambua hili. Ni kwamba hii tuzo si ya Ethiopia peke yake, ni kwamba ni ya Afrika nzima. Kwamba Afrika inatakiwa ifike mahali pa kuweza kupata masuluhisho yenyewe, na ujumbe huu ninapopeleka kwao, kwa rais wangu nitapeleka salamu. Na nashukuru kwa mabadiliko, na tunaona kuna ajenda kubwa sana kati ya Ethiopia na nchi nyingine za IGAD kuhakikisha kwamba ulinzi na usalama kwenye ukanda wetu na Afrika nzima, pengine na dunia nzima, kwamba suala la kulinda amani ni la muhimu sana. Ethiopia ni moja nchi ambazo zinajitahidi sana kulinda amani. Inapokea wakimbizi wengi kutoka nchi mbalimbali. Nchi za Nordic inahakikisha kwamba suala la ulinzi na usalama, umoja unazingatiwa. Hili swala la kukutana kwa pamoja si la bahati mbaya, bali nchi za Nordic zina historia ya kipekee kushirikiana na Afrika kuanzia kipindi kile cha ukoloni na hata ubaguzi wa rangi. Kwa hiyo tunaona kwa pamoja changamoto mbalimbali, huku tukiweka kipaumbele kwenye swala la ulinzi na usalama. Na leo tunaona swala la demokrasia, maendeleo ya Afrika linatiliwa mkazo na nchi za Nordic. Wamejitahidi sana kushirikiana na Afrika kwenye eneo la IGAD. Kuna Sudani tunaona kwamba pia kuna matatizo kule upande wa Gafu na dunia kwa ujumla. Tunaona matatizo haya kwenye maji. Baada ya vita ya baridi tumeona kuna kasi kubwa sana na pengine sasa mniruhusu tu niseme kwamba Afrika imejitahidi kuanza kubadilisha ajenda yake. Kuna mabadiliko makubwa sana ambayo yanaangalia kukuza uchumi, kuwashirikisha vijana na kuweka mikakati kadha wa kadha kuweza kuwasaidia kuwaita kwa pamoja, lakini pia kuweza kuboresha chaguzi zetu, sheria za chaguzi, na kuhakikisha chaguzi zinaenda kwa haki na amani ili kuweza kupunguza changamoto mbalimbali. Hata hivyo tumeweza kupata mabadiliko kwenye suala pia la ulinzi na usalama kwenye pembe ya Afrika. Tumeweza kuwa na hatua kadhaa. Ushirikiano wa kikanda na mwishoni tu niseme kwamba ushirikiano wa nchi za Nordic kwenye suala hili la ulinzi na usalama wameweza kutusaidia kuona haki za binadamu zinafuatwa na nchi za Nordic mara nyingi zimegusia sana uongozi wa dhati, na Ethiopia iko tayari kushirikiana zaidi na zaidi na nchi za Nordic na nchi nyingine za Afrika ili kuweza kupata maendeleo zaidi na IGAD na sehemu nyingine zote za Afrika. Nashukuru sana. Asante. Sasa dada yangu kutoka Afrika ya Kusini, karibu. Ni kushukuru sana mwenyekiti. Kama ambavyo tulivyoendelea 1994 swala la umoja, tumejitahidi kwa miaka 5. Afrika Kusini hapa imekuwa ndo inatoa uniform kwa ajili ya maaskari wa Umoja wa Mataifa, na inatoa pia maaskari wa kutosha kwenda kufanya kazi pamoja na maaskari wengine na polisi wa Umoja wa Mataifa kwa ajili ya kulinda amani. Afrika ya Kusini imejitahidi sana kuonyesha uthabiti wake katika kutoa masuluhisho ya changamoto mbalimbali za Afrika, na wameweza kushiriki katika kutatua migogoro kadha wa kadha, na kule Burundi kwa mfano, Cote d'Ivoire, Madagascar, Zimbabwe na ukanda wa maziwa makuu. Kwa hiyo hii tunaona kwamba nchi ya Afrika Kusini imepiga hatua katika kuleta amani, na kwa kipekee wamejitahidi kuhakikisha kwamba matatizo ya changamoto, migongano ya kimaendeleo inafanywa kazi, na wamejitahidi kuweza kukuza ulinzi na usalama, amani ya Afrika kwa kule Zimbabwe, lakini pia Afrika Kusini imejitahidi kuwakuza wanawake kuwa maaskari wazuri wa kuweza kwenda kufanya kazi nchi yoyote. Na Afrika Kusini pia imekuwa mstari wa mbele katika amani na usalama. Kwa hiyo tunaendelea tu kusema kwamba hii maendeleo ya ulinzi na usalama maziwa makuu na sehemu nyingine utakuwa ni endelevu. Tunajitahidi kufanya kazi pia upande wa Sahara Magharibi, na Afrika ya Kusini inajitahidi kuangalia kule Sudani, na pia Afrika Kusini itakuwa ndo mwenyekiti wa Umoja wa Afrika mwakani 2020, na ambavyo tumesikia kutoka kwa ndugu zetu Zimbabwe. Tunataka kwamba bara la Afrika liweze kuwa ni jukwaa la maendeleo na ulinzi na usalama, ili kwamba 2063 ajenda hii iwe imefanyika kwa kiasi kikubwa Afrika nzima, na hasa kupitia biashara mbalimbali pia ziweze kufanyika vizuri. Ushirikiano na kusaidiana katika kuleta amani Afrika ni kipaumbele chetu pia, lakini tunapenda pia kuwa na maendeleo, mazingira bora ya kuweza kukuza maendeleo mbalimbali, hasa kupitia ajenda ambayo imepitishwa na Umoja wa Afrika. Niwashukuru sana nyote. Nashukuru sana dada yangu. Na sasa naomba nimuite ndugu yangu kutoka Angola. Angola wanaongea Kireno. Tafadhali wekeni mitambo sawa. Niwashukuru sana kwa jitihada ambazo mmechukua. Ninashukuru sana kwamba tutashirikiana nanyi vizuri. Angola iko kidete katika kusaidiana. Kwa kweli Angola ilipitia vipindi vigumu. Kipindi cha nyuma mnakumbuka, na kama ambavyo najua kwamba amani ni kitu cha muhimu sana. Bila amani huwezi kwenda mahali, bila amani huwezi kusonga mbele. Kwa hiyo Angola inatambua hili, na kwa sasa Angola ina mazungumzo kwenye Angola inajaribu kuweka mikakati ya kuweza kuzungumzia amani kwa mida kadha wa kadha, ili kwamba Afrika iweze ili Angola iweze kuangalia kwamba iendane na ajenda nzima ya Afrika, kwa maana ya suala hili la ulinzi na usalama. Na inajitahidi kuweza kusaidia pia kutoa changamoto ambazo zipo kule Rwanda na ukanda maziwa makuu. Tunashukuru sana nchi za Nordic namna ambavyo zinashirikiana nasi, na tunaona kuna mabadiliko, kuna maendeleo, na hivyo tunasonga mbele. Niseme tu kwamba tunapenda kushukuru kwamba Somalia siku ya leo na wamesaidiwa na kuna amani, na tumesikia pia walizungumzia michakato ya kule Msumbiji. Tunashukuru sana kwa uchaguzi ulioenda kwa uhuru na haki. Pengine tuwaombe ndugu zetu wa Msumbiji waendelee na moyo na roho hiyo hiyo ya kuweza kuimarisha amani, ulinzi na usalama. Kuna umuhimu wa kuweza kuwaelimisha watu na hasa suala la uvumilivu. Watu wawe wavumilivu. Tuliweke hili kwenye taasisi zetu kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna migongano, hakuna mianya ya kutoelewana kati ya miongoni mwa nchi zetu. Tunapozungumzia suala la ulinzi na usalama, kuna muhimu sana kuweza kuona hili suala la elimu linatiliwa mkazo. Afrika imepata matatizo mengi sana na hasa imepata changamoto sana katika kupata fedha kwa ajili ya walinzi wetu, kwa ajili ya walinzi ambao wanafanya kazi ya kuweza kulinda amani kwenye nchi zetu za Afrika. Kwa hiyo sisi Afrika nadhani tujitahidi sana na sisi kutoa mchango mkubwa wa kuweza kutoa mchango wa kifedha kwenye hawa walinzi wa Umoja wa Mataifa, na kupitia mikataba ya biashara huru Afrika, kuna umuhimu wa kuhakikisha kwamba amani, ulinzi na usalama ndio vinaboreshwa sana. Tunawashukuru sana.
Now let me go to my brother from Ghana.
Sasa nimwalike ndugu yetu kutoka Ghana. Ninakushukuru sana Profesa na mwenyekiti.
Thank you for the courtesies and hospitalities extended to us. Excellencies, invited guests, distinguished members of the House. African countries over the last few years have recorded increase in cases of violent extremism. Even the global figures for terrorism seem to
be on the decline.
Despite this
trend, Africa has seen the proliferation of extremist groups that have emerged out of local grievances in the region. Examples abound in West Africa where
kwa mfano kuna maeneo kumekuwa masuala ya kutarisha maisha katika maisha. Kwa mfano sasa ukiangalia kumekuwa na makundi kwa mfano yanayoua watu, yanayoelekea lengo ni kupora kwa watu.
The connections between violent extremism and other threats such as smuggling, kidnapping and other forms of organized crimes in the region's vast and governed spaces have contributed to
this changing security
landscape in the Sahel, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger.
Mabibi na mabwana, samahani mitambo yetu imekurufisha kidogo, hatumsikii vizuri mzungumzaji. Tunafanyia kazi hili. Namsikia wakideni.
Beyond the strategy, however,
na zidi ya mikakati hiyo inaonekana kwamba bado kumekuwa na
adaptable as a threat they are meant to address.
Despite
the existence of a regional framework,
violent activities
associated extremist groups in the Sahel have continued to increase year by year.
Changamoto ya kuwa na vikundi vya makabila. Kwa Nigeria kule kumekuwa na shida ya Boko Haram, na naona kama juhudi zilizotokea zilizochukua zimekuwa hazijatosha. Kwa hiyo ni dhahiri kwamba kwa ECOWAS iliona kuweza kuendelea na shughuli zake inahitaji kusimama thabiti kuweza kupambana na vitisho hivyo. Katika ngazi ya kibara iko wazi kwamba Umoja wa Afrika au kuweza kuwa na uwezo wa kuweza katika vitendo makubaliano ya kupambana na ugaidi, kupambana labda na maskini kwa miongo miwili iliyopita. Na sasa kwa hiyo mashirikiano ya ECOWAS zimeleta nguvu za pamoja na
African countries, distinguished guests,
Kwa miaka iliyopita kumekuwa na uvamizi wa na nataka kuongeza kwamba ECOWAS, kiini cha ECOWAS kuweza kuwepo na mikataba yake imekuwa ni kuleta amani na maendeleo katika nchi. Kwa hiyo napenda katika mahala hapa bwana
add my voice to earlier expressions of gratitude to Nordic partnership, Nordic Africa partnership, for giving us this opportunity to interact. I believe this is one of the best ways by which we can overcome the emerging.
Nisema hili ni muhimu sana katika kuweka changamoto hii pembeni, changamoto ya ulinzi na usalama. Niwashukuru sana. Asante kwa mchango wako. Tafadhali ndugu yetu kutoka Nigeria. Ninakushukuru mwenyekiti. Kama ambavyo kanda nyingine za duniani, Afrika imekuwa na matatizo mengi sana kwenye suala zima la ulinzi na usalama katika kuliweka kama kipaumbele. Kwa hiyo pamoja na kwamba kuna mbinu kadhaa ambazo zimeshawekwa na Umoja wa Afrika, bado tunaona kuna changamoto. Na hivyo kuna muhimu wa kuweza kuweka mifumo ya kuweza kupeana taarifa kupitia Baraza la Ulinzi na Usalama, na katika kuweka amani, kutunza amani na kuweza kuwatumia maskari wa Afrika katika kuleta amani, lazima tuweze kuwa pamoja. Na hapa kuna umuhimu wa kuweka silaha chini mwakani, kwa maana 2020 ni muhimu sana. Tuwe na nguvu ya pamoja ya kuhakikisha kwamba silaha zinawekwa chini. Na Umoja wa Afrika imechukua hatua kadhaa katika kupunguza matatizo haya kupitia pia Umoja wa Mataifa. Zaidi ya hiyo, mimi niseme tu kwa pengine nitoe tu yale ambayo Algeria iweza kutoa kama nguvu yake. Kwa mfano, kuna kamati ya walinzi wa ulinzi barani, na nchi yangu iko katika kukuza na kupambana na mambo yote ambayo yanaweza yakaleta changamoto ya ulinzi na usalama kwenye ukanda wa Sahara. Nchi yetu imeweza pia kusaidia Somalia na pia katika kuwasaidia maskari walinzi wa usalama wa Afrika, na pia inasaidia kwenye mambo ya usafiri. Na kuna majukwaa kadhaa ambayo ni ya muhimu sana kwetu, na pia kuwakimbiza majangili magaidi na hasa Boko Haram. Mabibi na mabwana, kupitia juhudi hizi Afrika imeweza kupiga hatua katika kupunguza migogoro, lakini kuna bado changamoto kadhaa kwa nchi kadhaa za Afrika. Tunazungumzia ugaidi, lakini pia dini kupita kiasi, lakini kuna tabia ya kuchukua watu, kuuza watu, madawa kulevya na kadhalika, na pia uhamiaji haramu, nayo ni changamoto. Zaidi ya kwamba hatuna uwezo wa kutosha nguvu ya pamoja kuingia mkataba ya kuzuia matumizi mabaya ya silaha kupitia Umoja wa Afrika. Kwa bahati tumeendelea kuangalia hili na kushirikiana. Matatizo ambayo yapo katika kwenye ile mkataba wa UN Charter ile UN Charter imeweza kutusaidia kwa kiasi fulani, na nchi yangu imeweza kusaidiana na nchi nyingine za Afrika kuweza kuungana na siku kutoa moja nyingine na kuweka nyingine kupitia majukwaa ya majadiliano. Niseme imekuwa muhimu, na niseme kwamba ulinzi na usalama na masuala ya maendeleo ni muhimu sana. Haya yote yanaenda kwa pamoja. Bila ulinzi na usalama huwezi kupata maendeleo, na bila na hivyo maendeleo yanaenda na ulinzi na usalama. Lakini pia nchi za Nordic na nchi nyingine pengine ni muhimu sana sasa kuungana na Afrika kuweza kusonga mbele zaidi. Nashukuru sana. Asante sana. Ninaomba sana tuweze kwenda kwa haraka sana. Tuende kwa haraka. Kwa hiyo baadaye tutaweka kwa pamoja kama maazimio. Nina dakika kadhaa, pengine ni watu kama 4 tu waweze kuongea. Sasa waziri kutoka Benin, tafadhali. Benin, unaongea Kifaransa?
Channel number 1 for those who use English. Yes, but let me start in English. Honorable Minister, dear colleagues, I'd like to thank you for
Mabibi na mabwana, ni washukuru sana.
It's always a pleasure for me to come back to this East African part of it's part of our continent that I cherish so much.
Afrika ni bara ambalo kimsingi tuko pamoja kama ndugu, na napenda niongee Kiingereza